Right guys, welcome back to another video, and today we are talking about the history of Arsenal. Now, disclaimer before I start this video for anyone watching it, right? I am talking about the Premier League history of Arsenal. Now, the Premier League history of Arsenal is a limited part of Arsenal's whole history. Obviously the Arsenal fans will know a lot more than me. This is just a video which I have done a fair amount of research on, but only really on the Premier League side of Arsenal. A quick backstory about Arsenal though: it was founded in 1886 by factory workers. However, this is a long time ago, and I just don't have all the time in the world to research about Arsenal. If you go on their website though, Arsenal's website, they do have a great section on the history section, which I did briefly read, but I'm not that educated on most of it anyway, and this is just a bit of an informational video on the Premier League era of Arsenal, mainly because that is what this channel is for me. It's a Premier League kind of channel, and it's a place where we talk about Premier League topics, Premier League teams, and the Premier League era in general. Now, I would just like to say Arsenal is a rich club in history, and there are so many different things to talk about here, but like I said, we are just going to talk about the Premier League aspect of Arsenal. So we are going to start in 1992. Now, in 1992, the Premier League was founded and Arsenal would come 10th in their first Premier League campaign. However, the team would actually win the Premier League in 1997 to the 1998 season. After this, they would come second for the next 3 seasons and then first again in 2001-2002. They would then win a further title in 03-04, which is the Invincible season. However, this would be the last time they would ever win the Premier League up until the current day of 2022. This was under Arsene Wenger, where the club would be a consistent top 4 team until the season of 2016-17, where they would come 5th and have finished outside of the top 4 ever since. Arsenal haven't had any major success in Europe. The furthest they've ever got is the final in 05-06, where they would come second and lose in the final. Arsenal, being a very good domestic cup team, have actually won 14 FA Cups, which is the most out of any team in the English Football League. In this section we usually talk about players. Now, with Arsenal, there is one key man who is not a player which should be talked about in great detail when talking about Arsenal Football Club. Now, that is Arsene Wenger, who managed Arsenal between the 1996 season to 2018, who would be one of the most important managers in Premier League history, and he would even change the way the game is played and the game is viewed. He also made Arsenal one of the biggest clubs in the world over his 22-year spell at the club. Now, Arsene Wenger is one of the best managers in Premier League history because of the way he changed the game and revolutionised football in a way of diet and making footballers more professional and making Arsenal one of the biggest teams in the world. Arsene Wenger is a very successful manager and should be viewed as one of the best managers to ever manage a Premier League team. He is easily one of the most influential managers of all time, and in my opinion was a great manager, and he should have really been there until he wanted to leave properly. It was kind of like as soon as Arsenal stopped finishing outside the top 4, he kind of felt like he had to leave because of fan pressure and stuff like that, which isn't really fair to a manager who revolutionised the English game and changed the way people view football and Arsenal around the world. Now, there are a lot of players which I could talk about in this. For example, you've got Dennis Bergkamp, Patrick Vieira. The main one we are going to talk about is Thierry Henry, who scored 228 goals in total for the club and holds the assist record, and scored 24 goals and 20 assists in a single season. Thierry Henry is obviously one of the best players in the Premier League era, if not the best. Thierry Henry is seen as one of the best players in the Premier League era, mainly due to the fact of how great of a goal scorer he was, how fun he was to watch, and he is literally the face of Arsenal. When you ask Arsenal fans why did they start supporting Arsenal, most of them say because of Thierry Henry and how exciting he was to watch. People grew up idolising Thierry Henry. He's honestly one of the best players of all time, and there's nothing more you can really say about Thierry Henry. What can you say about literally, arguably the greatest player in Premier League history, you know? It's hard to put into words how good he was, because most people would rank him as their best player of all time within the Premier League era because that's what they grew up on. He was literally the face of Arsenal, and even still is the face of Arsenal in my opinion. Seriously, one of the most prolific strikers of all time and one of the best to ever play the game. Arsenal have a great history and a great team as well. In the 03-04 season, they actually became invincible as well and solidified themselves as one of the best Premier League teams of all time. If you haven't seen that video where I rank the best Premier League teams of all time, please click on the video on my channel. It's a great video and I go through all the best Premier League teams of all time and rank them in order. If you want to see where Arsenal came on that list, you can click on the video above. Now, Arsenal now. So we've talked about Arsenal's history and what an amazingly rich club and history they have. Now we're going to talk about the modern day of Arsenal a little bit as well. So they have quite a young manager in Mikel Arteta. They seem to be doing okay. Towards the end of last season, they progressed well, finishing 5th, which isn't a bad season whatsoever. They have a brilliant young core with amazing players such as Saka, Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Ramsdale. You've got Martinelli. You've got some of the best players, Ben White. Even Gabriel Jesus, at the point of writing this, is there at Arsenal right now. Now, Arsenal have a great core, and this team is going to progress into being a great team in the Premier League. Can they be consistent top 4 quality like they were in previous years and dominate in the top 4 and being one of the biggest clubs in England? I'm not sure yet. There's a lot of clubs with a lot of money. You've got Chelsea, you've got a lot of money. You've got Newcastle, you've got a lot of money. You've got Man City that have got a lot of money. Like, these teams are all going to be competing as well. Newcastle in the coming years, probably not right now. But this team is a very exciting young team, and Arsenal fans should be extremely happy with how Arteta has taken it, even if there are more blips, because there was a massive blip at the start of last season with them not performing to the level which they should have been. It's hard to say what these young players will develop into. I can confidently say that this Arsenal team is very impressive, and I really do enjoy watching Arsenal, and I think a lot of other people do as well. I respect what Arsenal are doing with their young team and performing at such a high level and even finishing 5th. And in my opinion, I think they will finish in the top 4 this season and shock a lot of people with what this team can do as they are progressing all together. It's kind of like a family in my opinion. They're all progressing at a good level and doing exactly what they should be as well. But that is the end of the video, guys. If you have enjoyed it, this was a video where I just try and talk about the history of a club and explain how a club is and what a club is all about as well. So this was my video on Arsenal, and this is the story of Arsenal Football Club in the Premier League era. Thank you so much for watching. If you have watched this far, thank you so much.